Hi, Bo Huffman here from the Hastings and Kearney GNCs. We want each and every single person to live well each and every day. So whatever your health need, question, or concern, we're here to do just that for you. So whether it's a multivitamin, a fish oil, a calcium, whatever the case may be, we want you to live well each and every day to get the most out of your life.
Hey guys, this is the Sports Hub brought to you by GNC. I am Connor O'Gara, this is Nathan Hart. Nathan, we have playoff basketball to talk about once again. We have some girls district final matchups we want to talk about, some boys sub-district final matchups we definitely want to talk about. But before we do any of that, we talk 3 stars. And first, it's a guy that's familiar to the program, not necessarily familiar to 3 stars.
Yeah, Blake Holtmeyer last night, Kearney Catholic against Minden, found themselves in a 12-0 hole early. And it was him that sparked the stars with a dunk to get them going. And then the final 2 minutes when the game was back and forth, he made all the big plays. He had a steal, he had an assist, and he hit some key free throws. He finished with 18 points, 10 rebounds, 6 steals, 4 assists. It was him that got the job done against Minden, and the Stars advanced.
And we talk about big second-half performances. Shelby Brown had a huge second-half performance last week against Overton to be able to get a sub-district final win over their rivals. She had 26 points, 10 rebounds, and really provided the difference defensively, shut down Madison Beavers, did a tremendous job in the post, and really wreaked havoc on what Overton tries to do. And she is such a critical piece for that team. She's a senior. She did not want to see this team go out and lose to their rivals. They got a big showdown coming up against Arapahoe in a district final that we're definitely going to talk about. And then our last star, Skylar Snyder of Kearney High. Snyder is a girl that came off of a back injury earlier in the year, but now is playing really well. She had 28 points in a big win against Lincoln Southeast, number 6 Lincoln Southeast. That is not an easy team to face. Did so on the road, and they won by 15 points. If there's a better sophomore in the state, I have not seen it. Snyder is that good. She is a really good scorer and somebody that they're going to need if they want to be able to make that push and get into Lincoln. For our GNC Muscleman Pick of the Week, we're going to take a look at a D2-8 Subdistrict final between 2 hub territory teams, Bertrand and Elwood. Bertrand, a team that comes into this barely getting past Pleasanton, got a 1-point victory, in Elwood, a team that's playing really well right now. We talk about what Skylar Werger is able to do when he is in the lineup for that team. That starting 5, very good, a team capable of making a run to Lincoln. But I just think that Bertrand, in winning time, is going to be able to make just enough plays down the stretch. I look at Robert Edgren, Jake Samuelson to step up, and that team I think is going to be able to get a 1-point victory. I have 68-67 in this one, but I do think that if Bertrand is able to get past Elwood, or even if Elwood is able to win this game, either team would have a very favorable draw against a potentially sub-500 team in that district final. So whoever wins this game, definitely going to have a good road to state.
In the C1-10 Subdistrict final, we got Kearney Catholic and Gibbon. These 2 teams had a pretty epic game when they played each other in the regular season. Kearney Catholic won in overtime. That game, Kearney Catholic held Riley Reinertson. He scored 24 points, but it took him 27 shots to do that. And as Broken Bow learned on Tuesday night, it's hard to keep Riley Reinertson down for more than 1 or 2 games. He'll probably get his shots. And so what are the keys if Riley Reinertson has a good game? I think for Kearney Catholic, they have to get someone other than Blake Holtmeyer involved. Obviously, Blake's their leader. He's going to score his points, get his rebounds, make his plays. But when they played Gibbon in the season, it was Matt Moore, Cam Moore even, that came up big. If somebody, Brady Holtmeyer, the Jacksons, the Moores, someone could complement what Blake is able to do, they'll give themselves a chance. For Gibbon, this is a team that executes well, they defend well, they run their sets well. But they got a little flustered with Kearney Catholic's defensive pressure and made some turnovers. Normally this is a team that doesn't make more than 8 or 10 turnovers in a game. If they can be patient like they normally are against Kearney Catholic's pressure, they'll give themselves a chance because they'll just be doing what they're doing and not get flustered by the Stars' pressure. I expect a really close game Thursday night at Kearney High.
Nathan, once again, we're going to talk about a familiar matchup. I think we've seen Overton and Elm Creek play each other before. We're going to see them play each other again in the D1-9 final. That's on Thursday night. Go figure that these 2 teams end up facing each other with potentially a right to go to state. Elm Creek could already have its ticket punched. Number 3 right now in the power points. Overton at number 6 would have to get a lot of things to happen if they were to lose to Elm Creek. But you look at this matchup, Elm Creek has had the upper hand twice against Overton and have just frustrated them with what they've been able to do on offense. Elm Creek's so efficient with what they do. Zach Johnson, obviously the key to all of that. And really, they don't turn the ball over very much. This is a team that gets high-quality looks. They're able to get good good looks inside and on the interior, and with Nick Crowley, Jake Bartley, we talk about these guys all the time, but they really are that good. And with Overton, if Overton wants to win this one and get their first win against Elm Creek this year, they've got to be able to get out in transition. We saw it on Tuesday night. When they get out in transition like they did against Amherst, they are about as good as it gets in D1. And if they can get some steals, really fluster some of the ball handlers, this is an Overton team that can take over at any given moment. We wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, I mean, Overton, they've lost Elm Creek twice, but Overton also has the ability in a quarter or a half to look like one of the state's best teams regardless of class.
Yeah.
They just have the look, the talent, the feel of a really, really good team that have yet to put it together for a full game against Elm Creek.
And Jay Stair knows that. He knows that his team really has to put 4 quarters together. They say all the time they have 5 guys that can go off for 20 points. It might take a couple guys to do that if they want to beat a really good Elm Creek team. Should be a really good showdown. Definitely going to be a fun one to watch. Nathan, there are girls teams in the Hub territory looking to punch that ticket to state, and we have one game that has 2 Hub territory teams, Arapahoe, Elm Creek. We've already talked about Elm Creek a little bit. This is going to be a really good game, a team, Elm Creek, that they're kind of on a free roll right now to have a 2-win season and to be in this position. This is all gravy from here on out, but at the same time, they have a job to do. And defensively, I think that if they can create some havoc and really do what they did against Overton, against Arapahoe, it might be a tough matchup for Kaylee Watson, Rochelle Wendland to get going.
The one thing Arapahoe has going for them is the experience. They've been there. They were
Yep.
at state last year, and that's been their goal all along, is to make it back. So it's the experience versus the kind of the up-and-coming Elm Creek team.
Yes, definitely should be a fun game. Minden, a team that's got a little bit of experience. You got to see them last week against Kearney Catholic. What does Minden have to do to make sure that they don't have any sort of a letdown?
Well, they got over the hump against Kearney Catholic, and against Grand Island Central Catholic. Here's a team that probably just does not have the capability to compete with Minden. I would expect Minden to win and win easily against GICC.
It's a potential tune-up game, and a game that's definitely not a tune-up game. Ravenna, Dundee County Stratton. Dundee County Stratton got off to that fantastic start, really got off to, I think it was something like 20-0 to start off.
Yeah, I think they won their first 18 games, yeah.
But have lost all 3 of their losses came in the month of February. So Ravenna is a team that on paper is considered the underdog, but this is a team more than capable of hanging with a really good C2 team. I wouldn't be surprised if Ravenna is able to make this a good ball game down the stretch.
The one thing, Dundee County Stratton is just a really deep, balanced team. Their scores come from all over different places each game. They've got to be able to handle, the scouting report is long for Dundee County Stratton. They've got to be able to handle everything they throw at them.
And Bertrand considered an underdog in the D2-4 district final against Giltner. Giltner, obviously a very loaded team, tons of state experience, and a team that just flat out scores. But Bertrand, maybe the best thing that the Vikings do is that they do shut down teams, and they kind of slow teams down. They force you to play a good half-court game. Brittany Shipp, we talk about, and what she's able to do on the interior. And if this team wants to have a chance against Giltner, they got to make it their game. They got to go with their pace and slow things down. So there are teams in the Hub territory that could be on the brink of a ticket to Lincoln. We're going to try and get out and cover all these games, or cover as many as possible, obviously, but should definitely be some fun things to watch for in the future here. And lastly, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Kearney High girls, what they're trying to do on Thursday. Make it back to Lincoln for the first time in 4 years. They get to face a really good Bellevue East squad. That's Bellevue East, the host of the A6 district. And with Kearney High, a team that is coming in about as hot as any team in Class A right now. 12 of their last 13 games they've won. And this is a team that is looking to be able to make that next big step. This team has really done a good job of rising to the occasion this year. Yes, they've had a few losses to some top 5 teams in Class A, but understandably so. If you look at what this team has on paper and compare it to some of the bigger metro teams, you wouldn't say, all right, this is a team that could match up. But that 2-3 zone has created such havoc for the Bearcats this season, and has forced teams out of what they want to do. It's an underrated aspect. If you can force a team out of what it wants to do offensively, you can create some really good opportunities for yourself. We already talked about Skylar Snyder, Kelsey Stidham, of course, and Peyton Cutterback. Claire Stickler being back in the lineup, really important for them. And then to have a big rim stopper in Brianna Miller is going to be so important for the Bearcats if they do want to get to state. That should be a really close game. Even though the Bearcats are considered the underdog, the lesser seed in this one, they do still have the power points edge over Bellevue East. So I would not expect this to be a one-sided game in any way. And should be really interesting to see if the Bearcats can get to that Lincoln mark. With the playoffs winding down, we do still have 8 girls teams left. That includes Kearney Catholic, a team waiting in the balance on its wild card It's Wild Card Fate. Southern Valley, same thing for the boys, but 14 boys teams left. There's a ton of boys action this weekend. There's a ton of girls games. It's going to be really interesting to see who can rise to the occasion. I think that's the big thing you look for right now. You never know how 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids are going to respond to the biggest games of their lives, but it should be really fun to see. We're looking forward to it. Looking forward to see who can make that next step, who can get to Lincoln. That's the ultimate question this weekend. So for the Sports Hub, this has been Connor O'Gara, Nathan Hart. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.